He's done. We just got to butter this toast and slice it and eat it. He's done. And he's done in Florida. He's done in Pennsylvania. He's done in New Jersey. He was done in Virginia. He was done in Mississippi. He was done in Georgia. He's done. It's over. You're a loser, dude. You're losing everywhere, and you're going to lose more because you, my friend, are a loser.
Okay, James, the Democratic streak continues, electing a Democratic mayor in Miami for the first time in 28 years. It may not be the most important office, but actually it became a big deal. Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis made a big pitch for the Republican candidate who was clobbered, lost by 19 points. It's a continuation of virtually every election in 2025 where Democrats are running well ahead of last year. I don't know. You know more about the town and the vote, but it's heavily Hispanic. It suggests to me that maybe those Hispanics who turned to Trump last year because they didn't like Biden's immigration policies are turning back because they don't like the thuggish deportation policies of Trump. I want you to pick up on all that. And they won other races in Florida, and they won a special legislative election in Georgia, which turned from red to blue. So once again, a good night, but tell us about it.
Okay, so Nikki Fried, who we've had on the show, is a friend of mine and is a party chairman, who's quite reliable. I would say Nikki thus far has been more reliable and successful, but she might be on the verge of really being successful. I got this text from her last night. How much we win Miami by? Answer, 19. Understand, didn't just win, okay? It was a blowout. It was 59.5 to 40.5. So let's get this in our mind. It's the first time in 17 years. You can't discount it. Furthermore, in Florida, I'm reading from Nikki's text and only this, and we moved the needle on another Senate seat. I know it's a state Senate, obviously, by 22 points as well. We won 2 additional races tonight with a 70-30 spread. These seats are not that blue. America, there's something going on out there, and it's something a lot deeper and a lot more profound than people realize. And it's happening again and again and again. And it doesn't seem to have a geographical tint to it, which is really, given the differences in states and voting behaviors and predictability, it is this era in American politics, I'm going to go on a limb, but I'm right, it is unique almost to any other thing that we've seen. I know we saw 94, and I know we saw 2006, and we saw 2018, we saw 1980. I think this is deeper. I really do. I think there's something really, really going on out there. And I just don't think that we as commentators and people who do the same thing we do, I just don't think we can really appreciate or understand how deep and how profound this is.
I'm going to bring up another race. I think Democrats have said, hey, we're going to win the House. The Senate's uphill, but, we could. Texas this week, Colin Alrad, one of our favorites, but he wasn't clicking very well as a candidate, dropped out of the Democratic primary to run for the House. Left-wing Congressman Jasmine Crockett jumped in, and some Democrats were a little bit down. I think that's wrong. I actually think this is good news. I think that for Democrats, a lot depends on the disreputable right-winger Ken Paxton winning the Republican primary. But I think Crockett couldn't beat him or anyone else. But James Tallarico, the captivating young state legislator who stresses both his faith and his progressive policies, I think he'll beat her. And if he ends up running against Paxton, I like those odds. And I'd point out it's a 2-way Senate race. So in the Democratic side, so there's not going to be a runoff. And there's a 3-way, a serious third-party candidate likely to be a Republican runoff, which makes it only more bitter. So you can tell me if I'm being Pollyannish, but I feel better about Texas today than I have in a while.
Well, just to issue Jasmine Crockett. First of all, she seems like she's well educated. Seems like that she's got a lot of energy. But to me, she violates the first rule of politics, and that is, in politics, you always make it about the voters and never about yourself. If you listen to her talk, it's a lot more about herself than it is the voters. And Republicans are bragging, and there's probably some truth to it. They put a poll out showing that, of course, if you take a poll now, Harris and Biden will be ahead because people just, you've noticed, better than anybody in the
Mhm.
world, well, as long as you've been covering politics and doing polling, this kind of early polling doesn't mean anything. And she said she saw the polls and she thought she had to get in. All right. I'm just telling you, she lives in a plus 24, represents a plus 24 Democratic district. I would like her a lot more if she tried to help Democrats who are in plus 3 Republican districts. As long as you can you can stay in Congress as long as you want. You can get all the hits, you can get all the clicks, you can get on all of the TV shows. You can get in as long as you're polemic, but you're not helping very much. And the evidence of that was in Tennessee 7. We couldn't have gone into a lab. And if we wanted to design the worst candidate that we could possibly run in Tennessee 7, we'd have come up with the person we want. We would pick somebody
That's
who said
true.
they didn't like country music. We could pick someone that said they don't even like where they live. We could pick someone that said they wanted to pay for gender affirming surgery for president. We could pick someone that said we want to defund the police. Actually, we picked that person. We actually did. And even there, she cut the margin from 22 to 9. But we know what wins elections. We just do. And what wins elections is not sitting there talking incessantly about yourself. Winning elections is not how many clicks you get or how much overnight fundraising you do. Winning elections is being part of framing issues and understanding where people are coming from. And I don't think Congressman Crockett is very good at that. I'll be very frank.
No, I think you're right, James, but I don't know James Talrico, but I must, and we ought to think about getting him on this show. What I've read about him is he's young, he's a state legislator, he strongly emphasizes his faith while sharply criticizing Christian nationalism, and espouses progressive politics. A guy like that could just fade. He could
We go
prove to
get
be a
we can get him on the show. I'm going to get it right
yeah,
out. He actually called me. I
yeah.
don't think I'm revealing anything. And his questions were very smart. I thought very direct. And as we should have. We talked about politics. And my first impression of him was good. But let's get him on the show and see. Because sometimes these kind of guys they look great on paper, and then they got in the larger thing, they flame out. But he's got potential. I really
He
believe
sure
that. So we'll
does.
get him on the show.
And if he's good, he'll be a nightmare for Ken Paxton, who
Right.
I'm cheering
He
for
will.
in the
And he
Republican
doesn't.
primary.
Yeah, he talks about voters more than himself, which is a big thing here.
Yeah, yeah, that's supposed to be what it's all about. Um, Speaking of people who don't talk about or talk about themselves rather than voters, Donald Trump, the notion that he is an old man losing it was on full display the other night in the Pennsylvania Poconos, where he had his rally. He ranted and railed, he insulted, he called Somalia a shithole country. By the way, that was the same expression he used in a private White House meeting 6 years ago. Some people came out and said he said that. And Tom Cotton of Arkansas said, "No, I never heard that. He didn't say that." This is the same Tom Cotton who today is saying that those pictures of those two Venezuelans who were blown out of the water, look perfectly fine to him. But the big story was Trump. I mean, Trump basically, uh, all he said about affordability was it's a Democratic hoax, after telling Politico's Dasha Burns that he'd give his economy an A plus plus plus. I might have left out a plus there. So what he said to Pennsylvania voters last night is this economy is fabulous. What he's really saying is that you folks who are paying more for meat, for housing, for health care, unlike me and my billionaire friends, you're stupid. You just don't know how good you have it. Every Democratic contender candidate would love to have Trump deliver this message in their district.
So I want people to think about something. Herbert Hoover, I was talking to our dear friend Sidney Blumenthal's great friend of this podcast,
Yeah.
and he reminded me that Herbert Hoover in like 1932 said, prosperity is around the corner. In other words, Hoover didn't try to tell people the economy was great. All right. He said,
Yeah, yeah.
we're about to turn the corner. Trump doesn't say that. Understand? He says it's great right now. It's the greatest economy we ever had. Concurrent with that is a must-read story. I think it's in Politico. Jonathan Martin texted it to me about how many people just living paycheck to paycheck. And this is not only a kind of insane message from to somebody as I don't think is honestly I would think anybody would say that Trump is particularly sane. It's a politically dumb message. You know, you could say we've got things in place, and another at least Scott Bassett or even I think Lutnick says you just wait till next year, then you're going to see what's really happening. And Trump can't say that. It's pretty amazing if you think about it.
Well, James, just to interrupt for a second, I want to come back to you. Scott Bessen's actually worse than that. Scott Bessen said people feel bad about the economy because of what the liberal media is telling them. Again, what they are saying, what Bessen and Trump are saying is, you people are stupid. You really don't understand. So I'm sorry, I had to throw that one in. Go ahead.
No. I just even Herbert Hoover said it's around the corner. he's right. Trying to argue that you're not feeling what you're feeling, and he's not going to. And then plus he goes off on every cockamamie sideshow he could go off on. But understand this: people are seeing this, and people are voting on this. Understand that he's not getting away with it. He's caught on to. He's not getting away with it. He's paying for it, and he's going to continue to pay for it. And we got to stop looking at him as some kind of political Svengali or political Houdini or anything like that. He's done. We just got to butter this toast and slice it and eat it. He's done. He's done in Florida. He's done in Pennsylvania. He's done in New Jersey. He was done in Virginia. He was done in Mississippi. He was done in Georgia. He's done. It's over. You're a loser, dude. You're losing everywhere, and you're going to lose more because you, my friend, are a loser.
Do you think that Howard Lutnick or Larry Ellison or any of his billionaire friends, do you think any of them are telling him you got problems, boss?
Shit, no.
Absolutely.
You think anybody is saying, sir, I don't know how to bring this to you. We're not losing out there. We're getting the dog shit kicked out of us. Maybe, I know, sir, you're a genius, but sir, maybe if we could. No. He's getting as much of that as Joe Biden got of people telling him you shouldn't be running for re-election. And we saw what the consequence of that was. One was a decent human being who did a great job as president. One is a raving maniac and in all likelihood a multiple felon. Well, he is. The court found that.
But it's remarkable because they knew the huge mistake Biden was making in 2024 and 2023 and saying the economy really is, pretty good. They knew that. They really ran on that. And yet there they are, not only making the same mistake, but in some ways it's even worse. And that's, he is an absolute narcissist.
Biden and nobody good 2022.
Yeah.
We forget that. Okay? We forget that. He's losing everywhere. He's losing on the beaches. He's losing in the foothills. He's losing in the mountains. He's losing on the prairie. He's losing the desert. He's losing everywhere. You can't pick a place where this guy is not losing. Get over it, people. He is a gigantic loser. He might be the biggest loser of this century. United Indiana football is number one. He's a bigger loser than Indiana football used to be. He's a loser.
Well, but there's a big difference because they came back. He ain't gonna come back.
He ain't coming back. You're right. And that's a good. Yeah, he ain't coming back.
I will guarantee people out there, James Carville will not be wearing a Trump sweatshirt next year. I'll guarantee that.
No. But he is a loser. Get over it. He's losing, and not just losing. He's getting shit kicked out of him. And then you look at, somebody else texted me something over the trend. non-engaged voters, I think like 20% were in New Jersey and Virginia, they're coming out. Dormant voters are coming out to vote against you. They're all coming out to vote against you. The Hispanics are coming out to vote against you. The young people are coming out to vote against you. The casual voters are coming out to vote against you. The swing voters are coming out to vote against you. The Democrats are coming out to vote against you. The moderates are coming out to vote against you. The independents are coming out to vote against you. And I think more than you would like, Republicans are coming out to vote against you. They hate you. You understand that? Your staff won't tell you that, but I will tell you that. All across the United States, there's one thing that unifies people, and that is they detest Donald Trump.
You go, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You go, girl. Somebody, yes, at least But
Yes.
you're going to see
Yeah.
people following up. Our way, she's
Right.
on to something, and his own party is turning on him. He's a loser. I got to repeat that. I don't care how many times. A loser.